What's up, Bridging the Gap crew? It's Devin here and Coach.
Coach Hot. It's a heat wave out here,
It's a sticky one.
and we're not in the air conditioning.
What the hell was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Tekashi 6ix9ine. Icky, then she get the sticky.
Get the bliffy. Get the
Stiffy.
stiffy. Got the bliffy or some shit.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. You wanna know something funny? The other day I saw this video, right, of Trey Songz. I think it was Trey Songz or
And Tekashi, they were on
balcony.
with
Yeah.
no shirts on,
Yeah,
singing
yeah.
and shit.
He's like, this is my. He Trey Songz. This is my little brother, my little twin brother. And I was like, what the? Shut your mouth.
But you know what? I would if I got a chance to do some weird shit with Tekashi, I would do it because he brings in the views.
Yeah, right.
Nothing too weird, but that was kind of weird, bro.
But it was pretty funny just because he said, because you weren't expecting Trey to come out and like sing, and then Tekashi's like, and then like you really thought Tekashi for a split second was actually gonna like show you his singing voice, and then all you hear is, and you're like, oh,
he is the
gosh.
biggest troll. He's got it down packed though.
Yeah.
He's got it down packed. I'm not sure how that shit works. Where that's gonna go? Is he gonna be able to keep? I don't think he's
relevant?
gonna be. Yeah.
I don't know if he's.
I
Just
think it's
relevant.
gonna be.
I mean, I will say that he's probably already more relevant than Lil Yachty was. Because Lil Yachty was like, no one even said anything about Lil Yachty really. Like, I mean, he came in and like
That song. What was it?
I Spy. But he did that with Kyle.
The first like cold like Minnesota or something like that. It was just the melody. It stuck in my head for like a month, bro. I heard it one time.
Oh, the melody.
Yeah, and it was I hate to call it, to me it's just not my music.
I felt like the first big song he had it wasn't even just him. It was Broccoli, or it was him and Young Dram.
That was his first.
Or Young DRAM, and he was just like.
But their relevancy, like they have a life expectancy. Like people said that about Nicki Minaj because they thought, but I was like, once I seen that she hit the pop scene, I was like, she's gonna be around forever. But if she would have stayed
in like the rap scene,
like just straight rap, she wouldn't have
made
stayed that long. So relevancy, I guess, is a quick thing for music nowadays, especially.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to stick around, I mean, we look at it a lot of times, and I think what it is like you got to produce like either albums that last, or you have to like find a niche. Like I said, like Drake is like the lover boy of rap. Like you know what I mean? Like everybody's like, oh, like, I want to listen. I'm feeling down. You know, he appeals to that like audience of people. Like I mean, like when it comes to love songs or whatever, like in rap. Like,
yeah, he's got it pretty much down packed.
Yeah. Do you love me?
Did I tell you that? What didn't I tell you? People are getting hit by cars doing that.
Oh yeah, I know. People are being the Kiki
challenge.
What the hell's the name of the song?
In My Feelings.
In My Feelings challenge. That's it.
And it's dude got apparently Drake gave him a check for $250,000 for making it so popular. I forget his name, Shizzy or whatever his name.
Shy Glizzy.
Nah, the guy that did the dance to it that made the challenge.
Oh, okay.
And blew it through the roof. But the funniest one I seen was this girl was doing it, and she was out in the street, right? And her purse fell off. And the other ones, you could tell there's people that they were like jumping in people's car and take, but you could tell that was fake. But her purse fell, and she didn't automatically go back and get it. A motorcycle comes, freaking picks her purse up and dips out on her. And you could tell it wasn't fake because they had a view of it. The motorcycle was just coming by and looked, watched it.
Yeah.
They picked it up, and then it was crazy funny.
Just snagged it and was gone.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because I would say don't say it's too funny. She might be like, oh, they stole my purse. And you're just like,
got my purse.
I was like, yeah, but that's pretty funny because you were trying to do a dance outside of a car and let it happen.
Yeah. And which is, I don't know. I don't get it. I guess people have nothing better to do to be like, let's go do this
video,
which is pretty much illegal, right?
Yeah, well, it's different. It's it probably is definitely. I mean, it depends. I don't know.
I think people are letting their cars coast.
Yeah, well, some people are, but I'm saying like if I were a person, I was smart. I would just put the camera on a mount on the console, and then just have someone slowly drive the car, like you know what I mean, or like just coast it down the hill.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people were doing that.
Yeah,
but a lot of people
weren't. A lot of people were probably, it's probably that dumb person that was like, I think, and when I did it, it just stemmed a whole branch of people doing it that way. Or like one saw it, we're like, oh, I don't think he did it. I don't think he did it with a person in the car. So the next guy was like, I'll just coast it. And they're like, look, see, I coasted my car. Bro, what if you put that down a hill? Like, well, they probably put it in like low gear, which you could probably do that. Put it in low gear, and it'd take forever to coast down, so you can do it. But I mean, like, you have to find a really straight road to do it. Really straight.
And I don't know if those are, what are those called, vines? Like,
Vines.
that you can make up things.
Like little 5-second videos.
Or no, what are those things called? What can you do? Like, because I said somebody got hit by a car. Somebody did, but there was a couple people that faked it. What would that be called? Wasn't there somebody that did that, got famous off of that, making it? They were like jumping in cars, but they weren't really doing it. He was making it. I forget what those are called.
Spoof.
No, it wasn't a spoof.
Fake.
There's some kind of like program or something you can use to do it. I forget what it's called, but it was something made this one dude famous. He was excellent at it. And he ended up getting like some kind of deal with the company for doing it. I don't know.
I can't tell you. I mean, when I hear that, all I think is like they faked it. I mean, that's the only thing that comes to my head. I don't know what they would call it. Besides maybe like a spoof or a parody. Something like that. So, Coach, you almost died the other day.
Yeah, that shit was crazy, man. I freaking pulled out the bike. I haven't been on a bike probably in like a year. So I was like, I got a little time to blow. I'm gonna go to the store. So I pulled the bike out. I even got some WD-40, sprayed up the chain. The chain was popped, so I put that back on, cleaned it up. I was like, I'm just gonna ride to the store. But I forgot that the handlebars, they came loose last time I rode it, and you know that mental note. I made a mental note: make sure you fix the handlebars before you ride this again. I didn't. I got to the top of the hill, over there by the gym, so which is not really that big of a hill, but you can't. So I started picking it up, and it hit me. Oh shit! The handlebars, and I could feel them, and then they just came out. Boom! Like fell forward and slumped. So now it's just like I'm wobbling all down the street. There's cars coming. I'm trying to press the brake, and I'm just steady picking up speed, and I'm trying to brake, but I don't want to brake too hard, so I was easing into the brake, trying to get to the bottom of the hill, and then the old lady was turning up, coming up the thing. And I was trying, and there's no way I was going to be, if I would have yanked it, I would have face planted right into her car. But she seen me, she like widened her turn just enough, and I was able to just swerve open and turn down that one street and coast it out and then stop and be like, what the fuck? And it was like, I know I joke about it, bro, but I was scared.
Bro,
my heart was like, after that.
You know what's really funny? I gotta tell you this real quick. Just earlier today, when I drove, or whenever I walked down the sheets, a car, I look back behind me and a car looks just like mine followed behind me. I was like, somebody stole my car! And then I look back, I'm like, oh, and I look back and I saw my car parked, like, oh.
Yeah,
I was just like, I was like geeking for a second. I'm like looking in the car, like, who just?
Well, there's cars that ride by times that I think is yours.
Yeah,
because it looks. There's a couple cars.
Oh, bro, if I'm in town, I'd let you know. There's been a couple of times. Like the other night, I was out and it was me and my buddy Brad, and we were gonna go out. We went out to this girl's party, and I looked at him and said, "Bro, I was like, we should get a coach right now." I said, "We don't have to go hang out with these." Because like, they were like,
"It was lame."
I'm not gonna go into some details.
Wait.
I'm not.
Why?
I'm not gonna expose them, and but I mean, there's just some things I don't agree with them particularly, and he likes them and I don't. So I was like, bro, we could just not and like just go have a good time because like she's a hoe. I'm like, that's just
hoes. How that's a funny thing. Like, I get this a lot. People ask, "Hey, you're friends. Me and you are friends,
right?
But I'm friends. Maybe I'm friends with some people that you just can't vibe with.
Yeah.
How do you work that? How can you? But that person is not. I'm not gonna say, well, I'm gonna cut these people off because you know what I'm saying.
It all depends because if you're the person. Because usually, like, people, like, I'm weird because I don't let people know that I hate them. You know what I mean? Unless they ask. You know what I'm saying? Because I judge people more off their actions than what they've said or what they say and then what their actions contradict.
Right.
So that's the only way I can ever really dislike people is if they're like liars. I hate liars. Like people that lie about stuff.
Right.
Or they're like two-timing or whatever. Like if I know that about you,
you got a whole list there's a whole list of people that you could be like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And there's some circumstances it's justified, but I mean, I just believe like it's dishonest to lie about stuff in general. Like you just shouldn't lie about things, Like there's no reason to lie about it. And there's people that I know, like they'll just lie out their ass, and like things that they don't even need to lie about. And you're like, why did you lie about that? Like it doesn't even matter.
That's that pathological shit. They have to.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But in this regard, it's like, like they don't, like, what I mean? Like they hit me up sometimes and like they think that I like them and I'll be like, hey, what's up? Like I just kind of put on an act like, okay, yeah, just say one word answers, Because like I'm not so rude where like I would shut the door on somebody. But like say if me and you went to hang out with that person, odds are that person probably don't even know that I don't like them. So you know what I mean? Like I'd be like, oh hey, what's up, man? You know what I mean? Like just put on a face or whatever.
Well, you're better than me. I can't. I don't like that motherfucker.
It all depends because like I said, I don't have a lot of reasons. Like if people do stupid stuff to me or someone I know, like you know what I mean, like I don't even get mad about that too often. Like that's not enough to make me mad. When you like lie to someone I know or like lie deliberately, like that is like my pet peeve is like people that lie about stuff like that and like betray my friend's trust or something. Like can't do it. Like it drives me crazy.
I feel you. I mean, I got many friends back home.
But if you want to hang out with them, that's cool because then I'm just gonna go. Okay, that's fine. I was like, but don't expect me to say too many words to them, you know what I mean? But if they look at me, I'm going to be cool with them because there's no point in, like, being a petty little fat, faggot boy who just like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I can't talk to you. It's like, I'm a grown-up. I can't talk to you. I'm a grown-up.
Don't do that.
I'm a grown-up, man. I'm a grown-up. Like, you got to handle that kind of shit. Like, because you can't just hide from people your whole life. You just can't.
Nah, you can't. I mean, it's like, it's one of those things. I've been in many situations where there was people that I didn't really vibe with, but my friend did, so I kept it civil, like you said. But once it gets to the point where it irks you too much, I have to say something. And I feel bad sometimes when I say it because everybody's looking at you like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, come on, why'd you have to start this, bro?
Right now. Man.
Yeah, and
right now.
Because sometimes in my head I think about doing that, and I'm like, bro, because if I don't do it, no one may ever do it because they always keep their mouth shut.
And there's just those one people that are just annoying. They're not per se bad people. They're just annoying. It seems like it. I know there's a few people that like my whole aura just changes when they come around because they're so annoying. I can't help it.
Just that person appears. You just hear the voice, and like all of a sudden you're just like you just turn like a whole different person. Like what?
Yeah.
What do you want?
The whole attitude just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. What do you want? And you're like, I'm sorry, man. Like I can't do this right now. Like I gotta go.
So I had to definitely check that because like how you can't let nobody steal your fucking thunder in the day. You know what I mean?
Right. You know what I mean? How you check it though is just like I make up any excuse to leave. That's what it is. I make up any excuse.
But I can't figure it out. I don't even know why it is though.
Yeah.
I can't pinpoint. I just know you're fucking annoying, man.
There are just people that are. I think there's honestly people that are just naturally, like you can't. Like, you don't hate them. It's just like you just can't deal with them. And I don't know what it has to do with. For me, it's like when people talk to me about stupid stuff and they have no reason to talk to me. There's no reason for them to talk to me at all. None. Just to talk to me. And they're just saying things that they don't even know what they're talking about. And then I have to pretend like, you know what I mean? Like I have to pretend like we're having a conversation even though like I'm looking like you're dumb. No. Like I had a friend of mine who always talks about the Eagles. Always talks about
That's
the Eagles.
His conversation.
Right, but here's the thing. He doesn't know nothing about the Eagles. I know more about the Eagles than he does. He didn't even know LaShawn McCoy. This is like a year or two ago. He didn't even know LaShawn McCoy was traded to the Bills, and I just started laughing.
Oh yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah,
when somebody thinks they say they watch football or sport,
and they don't, and they're just like talking about something. And you're like, ugh. It's not even just sports; it's anything. If they're talking, they think they know something about like science or anything. Like they're talking about it, like they know something, and like you're trying to be nice, like even if you told them, even if you explain it to them, they would just be like. Like asking you more questions. That another thing bugs me. Like my nieces and stuff, like they constantly keep asking questions about stuff.
Oh, shoot.
It's so trivial, Even I love them to pieces, and I answer their questions. Like I had a 10-minute discussion with my niece Emma about bees. She said, bumblebees, they're stinging. I'm like, no, they don't sting. They bite. Bumblebees don't have stingers. And I had to explain to her like all the different kinds of bees and who sting and who doesn't and what each one of them does. I'm like. And I was like,
that's what kids do, man.
Yeah. And she's like, what kind of bees are the ones that live in the wood? And I said, those are carpenter bees. She's like, okay. And then she's like, the bumblebees live in hives. I'm like, no, they don't. Bumblebees don't live in hives. I was like, wasps live in hives. Some honeybees live in hives, but not bumblebees. Oh yeah, I'm like, yeah.
She sounds like my daughter. My daughter was like that. She would ask 1,000,001 questions.
Yeah, about stuff that she's not even going to use them on. But I mean, if you can tell her about it, great, that's cool. But here's the thing, is when the people grow up, it's when the people grow up and they're like, you know, like 20 or, you know, like 18.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're still asking like millions of questions and you're like,
go do some research.
Like I'm not your walking encyclopedia, dog. Like I'm not here for your, you know, your benefit all the time. Like I got stuff to do. Like go somewhere, learn, teach yourself.
Yeah, some people are just, I don't know, man. Like I said, annoying for whatever reason. and sometimes I don't know, are they doing this on purpose?
Yeah.
Do they know that it's bothering me, so they're going to be like,
push your buttons.
Yeah.
Like, I do that shit sometimes. I see somebody like, oh, they don't like me, watch this. Like, if someone tells me that they verbally said they don't like me, then I like to approach them and be like, hey, man, what's up? Oh,
that brings up another question. What about people when you say, like, this used to drive me crazy back in the day. I couldn't understand when I was younger. I couldn't understand, like, if somebody didn't like me. I'm like, why does this motherfucker not like me? Instead of me saying, it might be just their issue,
yeah,
I'm going through my shit, like, why does that person asking people, like, what's the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I'm like, I'm wasting way too much energy on this.
This one person, like, why doesn't he like me? Like, like, it's not even something... Like, nowadays, like, that would be something in elementary school that used to bother me.
Yeah, back in the day.
But now, like, I couldn't even give a shit less. Like,
I don't care.
Like, you don't like me? Like, that's your problem. That's your prerogative, man. Like, walk on.
No energy for people.
Yeah, bro, if any of you out there, any of you, ladies, men, you got a problem where you think, like, someone doesn't like you, bro, stop wasting your time, bro. They're not even worth it. I only care about people that like me, because if someone likes me and cares about me and then they got a problem with me, well, that's something that's got to get sorted out, or I got to understand what's going on. But if you're someone that, like, I've never talked to and you just don't like me, well, then that's your problem, you know what I mean? Like, you just don't like me. All right, so anyway, guys, how's it going? I don't know if I formally talked to you. We just kind of started talking because me and Coach, man, we got things going on. You know how it goes. But today we're talking about a pretty touchy subject, and we kind of want to handle this with the utmost maturity. Or, you know, maybe have a giggle here or there too, you know, laugh a little bit. But we're talking about the N-word today. And we really want to get to the bottom of, you know, of looking at it like, why is it wrong? Why is it not wrong? Who can say it? Why they can say it? And what we really think about it, you know. And this is going to be coming from two different angles, two different perspectives. Again, like we always do. But this one's going to be interesting. So, Coach, I'll hand it off to you. Who do you think should say the N-word? And, you know, like, just we'll go with that.
Me personally, like, I very rarely use the word. Mm-hmm. I very, very rarely use it. I don't think anybody should be using it, but I understand that it's the black culture uses it. They say it. My cousins, I mean, every other word they're using it. You know what I mean? But they're not saying it in a demonstrative. It's more of a term of endearment thing now. And I look at it like that too, because I think it was Jay-Z who said that. He said we took that because they were saying that he used it in his lyrics or something like that. And he was like, wait a minute, we took that word that was used as a negative and we're using it as
positive.
A positive for us. It's for us, you know that. So I do believe, like, I mean, me personally, like, I've had white dudes that grew up in the hood,
Mm-hmm.
so they could get a pass for saying it. They would get a pass. People wouldn't even second. Some people say it when we were younger, and I know it's used way loosely today. But back in the day, like, it was there was people that could get a pass for it because they understood the culture. They were in the culture. They were you know, they actually understood the culture. They weren't just like culture vulturing, if you know what I mean by that.
Right.
You know, they weren't just trying to do it for a vibe. But you got some people that are out here just doing it for, like, they'll say that, what do you know about the culture? What do you know about the culture or something like that? For you to just say that. And I get that people will be like, it's in the song or whatever like that. Yeah. So, but it's still one of those things, you know. If you got somebody like a respected person, this dude is very respectful, and I think he's very open, young, fresh. Kendrick Lamar not allowing it to happen, you know what I'm saying? So that's my view on it. I don't think anybody should really use it, but it doesn't bother me. Like, but if somebody like a white dude said it, I would have to say something.
Right, I know.
Song or not. You know what I mean? I
Right.
have to say something. So
Right.
that's my view.
So okay, so you said something about the younger generation, which I liked. I wanted to bring a point to that. My cousin, Jake. I'm not going to point out his last name because someone might beat him.
What did you say? Somebody might.
Someone might beat him because because he's a white kid. I mean, he's not really my blood relative. He's foster. But he's still family to me. And he raps and he says the N-word in his raps. And I even had a conversation from my perspective, and I'm not even black. And I said, listen, like, shouldn't be trying to use that so loosely, you know. But then I had like this kind of conversation with myself when I thought about it. Like this younger generation that's coming up that uses this word so loosely, like they don't even understand the connotation that it has or what it's even about or anything really. I mean, to them it's just another word. Like, I mean, they know it, like it's supposed to be used for black people, and they know there's a racist connotation to it. But like, there's people like and my cousin, hangs out with black kids. You know what I mean? That are
apparently they're letting them get away with it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's a pass, and by no means. And me and you have had this discussion before, and said that you must know your audience, who you're speaking with, because not everybody feels the same way about that word as this younger generation. But my viewpoint and perspective on it is that people I believe that words are just words, and we give them power. Anybody gives any word power, and they're meant to be used in the way that people use them. So if I call you, you know what I mean, like, I used to like say when I call someone a shithead. Like if I'm laughing, I'm saying, you fucking shithead. Right. You know what I mean? And we're joking. Like I'm not meaning it like that. You know what I mean? Like it's a joke. But then like if I look at you and I say, you're a fucking shithead, and I like cuss you out because I'm pissed off about something, like I mean that. Like that's an insult. Like I'm trying to piss you off, and I'm pissed. And I'm trying to tell you that I'm mad at you, right? Or I don't like you, or I don't like what you did, or whatever. And I feel like, that younger generation that's using it, they're in a way, they're kind of helping wash away what that word used to mean, and helping, because what you said in perpetuation of, the black community took it and then made it a positive, a term of endearment. And now people of not just those ethnicities, but all ethnicities are trying to use it in a way that's not directed towards, like any particular race now. Like they're taking away the negative racist connotation to it. But again, like I said, there's still people that are older that, it's a problem for them. Yeah. But in my opinion, my opinion, people should be able to say it, but they got to know their audience and have respect for anybody. Just like when you walk out anywhere, you're liable to say whatever you want, but you're also liable to get your ass beat, as we say, So you got to understand and respect it.
It can happen, and I think it is the younger generation that just uses it loosely. Like I was around some kids. There was one time, and that's what I was going to ask you about your cousin. Like for him to say that he had to be around some black people that would let him get away with saying it.
Right.
So when I first came up here, actually, I was at a place where there were some young kids. We were doing something, but the young kids were around. They were just all letting it off, and these were white dudes, but there was an older black gentleman there, but you could tell it was making them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I forgot where we were at, so I pretty much...
hold on, clarification, making the black older guy uncomfortable?
Yeah, you're feeling uncomfortable, because it's from an era, we're talking about a 60-something-year-old man.
Yeah, right, so he's familiar.
He's very familiar with the negative. So I had to pull them to the side to make them understand, you know what I mean? Like, you just can't say that. Like, again, know your audience, know who you're speaking around, and then after that they understood, and then you know what I mean.
Because to you, like, it don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean nothing to you guys, but like to that black gentleman standing over there, like, you know what I mean, who was alive, and was maybe a young kid at the time of the whole
when you saying
civil rights or
you mean them that did doesn't mean that. Me personally?
No, them.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying, like, it might not mean nothing to you, and it might just be a word that you guys say and you laugh and blah blah whatever. You just
but
say
it meant something.
But it means something to him because he might have grown up in the very recent post racial Jim Crow, Southern laws, etc. And there was maybe not so much on this side of the East Coast, which but in inner cities and down south and stuff where it was just really bad, and like even after they had won and the slavery was abolished and everything else. People were still trying to segregate and break everyone up like they weren't equals and stuff. I'm like, that word to him means something than it does to you, and that's how I feel about words in general. Like, words mean different things to different people, you know?
It's true. That's true. And I look at it like this too. Because it's one of those things, like they're saying, like, you got the people up in Congress or anybody that's on the high horse saying, well, you shouldn't say that word if you don't, and they're telling you how you should, treat the word. But my thing into that is like that, do we do that for the Holocaust people? We don't tell them to get over the Holocaust. Do you ever notice that? But they'll say, get over slavery. You weren't a slave, or nobody. How can you tell? That's that word falls into that category. We're saying, how can you tell us how we're supposed to handle our past, the atrocities, the all the crazy shit that was going on? How can when somebody does that, I fucking lose it. I pretty much try to walk away from the conversation, but I pretty much lose it on that, because I don't think, how does somebody tell another person how to deal? That would just be like telling a person that got raped,
like, get over it.
Get over it.
And I'll say this too, because I agree with that. I just believe that nobody should be telling anybody how to say anything. I mean, unless, of course, like I said, like how we talk about it in a respect manner. Like, no higher authority should be telling you how to deal with it or how anybody else should be saying it. But it's all about individualism, as in, like, the people that you look around and you see and understand and respect what they went through and everything else, because whatever. And that's what I mean by, like, when I said the younger generation doesn't mean anything to them because they're not going through that. But I said someone else was.
They're desensitized.
Yeah, and another point that I wanted to make about that you said about like the Holocaust, like people don't say get over the Holocaust, but it's funny to me is like I know a lot of comedians make jokes about the Holocaust,
but they're probably Jewish
and Jews, but that's not always the case. Okay. And there's Asians, like they make jokes about Asians and whatever, and they call
that is true
in terms like zipperhead and all these things.
I never heard zipperhead.
Zipperhead, you know what that is? It's like they were talking about, because they call them zipperheads because whenever they would run them over with tanks and squish their heads, it looked like they have a zipperhead because of the.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. And like people, there's other Jewish terms.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, I know.
And I pretty much up on all the hate lingo of
Mexicans. Okay, well then spics, right? You know that term, right?
Definitely.
And that term is just horribly offensive. But it's okay to joke about those things for some people. Like they could joke about it, and then everybody in this audience that's like in this dark lit room, they all laugh about it. Black, white, every ethnicity's in that room. Even people that are also Mexican sit there and laugh.
Right.
But the N-word is like that one taboo. And I will give a shout out to a comedian that I know named C.K. Lewis, who got on stage and he said that. He actually says he hates the N-word more than the actual word. And the reason why is because he hates how, when you're on the news and you hear people say the N-word, it's like, because that's what saying a word is. You're just being a pussy about it, say the word, and I say it now just out of respect for everybody, because, again, that's just how it is. But because I'm not doing a comedy show here for everybody, just in case you thought this was stand-up.
And plus, though, too, comedians usually he had a conversation with somebody about that, color, before he did it, just like George Carlin did, because he had an episode of one of his shows where he was using it, and he had the way he was using it, and he had you could tell he probably sat down with like Eddie Murphy or somebody, Charlie Murphy or something like that, and had a conversation about it, and they gave him the
heads up.
Cool.
But here's what I'm saying though, by your logic, because I understand that you don't really like that, like if if you have like a black boyfriend or if you had that one person that gave you that permission, it doesn't justify that you're allowed to say it. You know what I mean? And that's why but
I think it was more. But when we're talking art, like if say somebody like Mac Miller decided and he sat down with a couple people like Kendrick Lamar and all that, and he said, I want to use the word in this context for this. What do you guys think? Is what I'm saying. It's for art. It's not for. Because you look at movies, like in every what's the guy's name that Joe with the Goodfellas? Who's the guy that films it? Every one of his movies.
Scorsese.
Every one of his movies uses it because most of his movies are from that era where it was used like that.
And you got to depict it how it happened, you know, like it's just got to be real, you know. Like you ever watch the old Western movies and they call them Negroes and stuff like that, and they say
that's just like crazy.
They say it like that, Negroes.
And plus, like the sense of like, I get this a lot around here. Like I'll hear a person say "colored person." I've never heard that in my life except on TV. I never heard another person say that out of their mouth.
Right, and they're trying
is crazy. They're trying to be respectful, but it's actually like worse.
Yeah, it's actually worse.
Just say black people.
Yeah, really. I mean, and that's the truth. You know, I mean, we're different, and then you know, I mean, like I said, like we're different. Obviously, we're physically different. You know, and like there's no reason that you have to act like we're not because we are. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that we're still human beings. That's all. Like don't dehumanize us, you know. When you say black people, you're not saying we're not people. You're just saying that we're people that are black.
Right.
You know, that's all.
Anybody would say. And plus, there's also there's people that I mean, like I said, there's different vibes of people. Like know your audience. People use it differently. People in a black home, on older, like a woman, usually she'll say Negro. Mm-hmm. To her, maybe her son or something like that. She'll say that she does that a lot. And why? Not totally 100% sure, but that's just a common thing. Like my kids' aunts, they use it. My aunts use it all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because that was the era. They're older, obviously, probably like 20 years older, so they went through that era. You see?
Yeah, and also too, they grew up with parents who were also directly, because it's not just about how old they are. It's about the people that raised them that knew about it too, you know. And we're about, you know, like we're probably like heading towards the second or maybe the third or fourth generation removed from like the, you know, the 1960s era, you know, like coming up. Right. So we're starting that, and that's what I'm saying by we're talking about this younger generation that's getting more loose with it. The reason why they're, you know, what I mean, because they're like their parents, you know, what I mean, that didn't feel maybe the immediate effects, or less of them felt the immediate effects of it. And I'm not saying there aren't still systematically racist systems that are out there. You know, I mean, you could look at, you know, any city and look at the redlining and other things, and you could see that, you know, there's still some form of systematic racism that hasn't been addressed. Mm-hmm. Or refuses to be addressed. You know.
Right. And I think that would solve a lot of problems.
Because then realistically, then you couldn't really put yourself in the box like, you know, like, well, we're not really being segregated anymore. There's no racial.
I think the address of that, like more or less, like I said, it's not too far. Like you said, second generation removed. It's not too far along ago that there was segregation. Those kids down at the school had to break that process. The voting, even for just women, period. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So we can't act like the world is just like, oh, everything's gravy now. Like everything's even, everything, because it's not.
It's not.
And people choose to use things like this to be able to pull that out of the rabbit out of the hat and be like, oh, you just like they say when like we talked about. I can't talk about that. It would be way off topic. But so basically in the black community, they say, well, you guys are killing black on black crime. Of course, because you're in that. You're going to be killed by your kind of majority of your time. White. Right. More white people are killed by white people. Black people, Hispanic people, because you're amongst your people.
Yeah, right.
So, I just think that people are trying to pick that word and say, like, make it worse than it is. Like, you're using it, so you're part of the problem, when it's really just let it be. Let it, you know? And I tell people like this all the time, as being a coach for them, all the kids, you know, they throw the word around loosely, too. I got to tell them, listen, because you can see the uncomfortability of the white grandmother, you know what I mean, right, sitting in the crowd. They're like, you guys, watch your mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's another thing that I like you brought up. It's not just the black people that lived in that era. It's the white people that lived in that era, like who like saw the atrocities of other people, you know, acting like animals, you know, and like going around.
And they weren't part of that. Yeah, they were actually the ones that fought.
Yeah, and to them, it feels like when you're saying it, they feel like, well, I mean, like, I didn't want people to say this, and now here you are using it, you know,
Right.
You know what I mean? And I wanted you to be free, and then you're using the word, and they don't understand that it's a term of endearment now amongst people. But I think just like how, because I mean it's facts that languages evolve. Many languages evolve, and like Latin, the language of Latin became all the other languages basically that we have nowadays. You know, which is like the language from Latin went to Angelic. So like I believe that languages and words, they all change their meaning over time, and you know, and I said this about using and separating the word as it is segregates each other, because whenever one person fights back against it, saying like you can't use that, you know, and like tells you that you can't say it, like you being black, like you can't say that because you know you're mad that we all said it, so why are you allowed to say it? You know, like that whole thing. Mm-hmm. That's congratulations, you guys have just segregated yourselves. Not you, but hit them. They have segregated you from them because they say that you can't say it. You want equality, but rather it shouldn't be looked at that way. No one should tell them that they can't say the word, but rather respect the people and understand the meanings of the word that exists today. And I
think it's a cultural thing.
Right. And just to make my point on this, you know, me and you agree that, you know, to say the N-word now, no matter what race you are, you know, I mean, if you're black, I can't really, like I said, I can't really fault you for that. But you know, it's not the time. Now's not the time for it. We could kind of agree with that. Definitely not. Because, and we talked about Oprah Winfrey whenever she said about like, you know, the changes of like generations. Mm-hmm. She said, you know, the older generation is just going to have to die because, you know what I mean, like there's no change in their minds at this point, you know, about anything.
Is that more of a, just like a...
It wasn't about the N-word though. It was just, but it was, that what she said was what I agree with in the sense that for this word to be okay to say, and eventually, because it's going to happen eventually, after I die on this planet, probably, and a generation after that, no one's even going to, like, people are going to understand the history of it because, you know, the history books have a way of removing the bad things, you know, and these kids, they're not going to understand really what it was really all about because, you know, they'll be so far removed, and that's what's great. It's great though. That's good, I think. You know, that people will be so far removed from it, and then their lives will get so much better here as time goes forward, that or they'll become more equal as time goes forward. That you won't even have to worry about that no more. You know what I mean? So you won't have to worry about them like saying like, oh, is this word bad? Is this, because there is like people are equals, you know, and they see each other as equals, and those kids don't even understand it what it was before, you know.
Yeah, I mean. It is what it is. It's just one of those things, bro. It's like culture things. Like, I don't, like, in every culture, there's a name that they use for themselves in their household. Right?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like a Spanish person, they have their own whatever way of their terms and endearment.
Oh, okay.
Like Italians.
Do white people have one? Do you walk up to someone and say, "What's up, whitey"?
I don't know. You probably do joke. Some people probably. I think I've heard people. Joke
I do make jokes. You know what? Sometimes I'll walk in and like I'm being a mockery of people that are like the people, the activist person, and like they blame white people for all their problems.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like those people. So like I'll join a party like if I was playing PlayStation. And I'd be like, "Fucking white people, man! I just can't stand them." Like
you gotta blame it on it.
Yeah.
Everything's white people's fault.
Yeah. So I'd be like fucking white people, man. Like I walk in and the reason why it's funny is because everybody there and me are white. So like we're all laughing because we're just like, yeah, man, we get that shit. You know,
it's just one of those things, bro. I think people just need to like I said, know your audience and stop. I mean, right now is just not. I don't see the time to be like, well, we gotta be able to use it because we're segregation and all that.
Right.
I just don't see that as being a great argument for anything.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not saying segregation or equality. I mean, the real argument is that the thing is just it's about respect, and that there's going to be a time when it's not, but you just can't decide it's going to be today. Right. It's not going to be today because there's going to be people that no matter what, it's never going to be okay.
Oh yeah.
And they live through it, and their parents lived through it, and for them it's never going to be okay until that generation dies off, and our civil rights moves forward, and we get further and further away. Mm-hmm. We're going to be in great shape. I think then that's when words will become like Zipperhead, and again, I believe words are given power if you let them have power over you.
Yeah, and plus,
I mean, if you let something get to you, it's definitely gonna get to you.
Yeah.
You have the people will use that, especially if they're, that's their goal is to piss you off.
Yeah.
So yeah, people use it. I just think it's just like, I mean, people just know your audience. That's
Yeah.
all I can say. That's all I can really say to that, because like I said, there's households in my family where I can't. If I walk in, it's different. Like it can be used in this household, but not in this household.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just the way it is.
And I'll tell you what. I'm gonna try to end this on a more lighthearted note, just because of that. Ginger. No one else can use that. Hey, that's our word. You can't use that word.
Did I ask you that?
Yeah, ginger. You can't. That's our word.
Is there
you
like
can't use it.
is it? That's the negative.
I'm just being a douchebag.
I know, but that's the negative? The ginger is the
Yeah,
negative.
ginger, because we have freckles all over our face, and we have no souls, and they just make up all this shit. We're usually ugly in appearance, I think I make this shit look good, ladies. I don't know what you're doing.
Are all gingers Irish?
You just used it again! Oh, okay, hold on. Coach, I'll give you a pass. I'll give you a pass.
You give me a pass on this one?
I'll give you a pass.
But seriously, are they
What do you mean? Oral ginger what?
Irish?
Oral ginger? No. There's denominations, because like there's Scottish.
I thought that's where it
There's
came.
Scottish people and I think some English people. I mean, redhead is a genetic deformity, actually. Like it's a
You're deformed?
yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool. It has like own little superpowers. Like we produce more vitamin D. Like we produce our own without sunlight. Like people depend on vitamin D production from the sun.
From the sun, yeah.
But because we're so fair complected, we have genes where we literally create our own vitamin D without sunlight and stuff, which is kind of cool. I think that I want to say it's vitamin D. I want to make sure. Gingers of my ginger community. Fact check me. Make sure I'm correct on that. And there's all these little things, but like the reason why we have red hair is because of a difference in alleles, where the alleles for red hair, what would it be? I'm trying to think. It would be the independent. I forget. My genetics class education is failing me. Miss Varney, you failed me. Actually.
Oh, she's gonna get you.
No, she's not. She's in jail.
What?
That's another story.
Your teacher is in
That's
jail.
another story. We'll save it for a different day.
Yeah, we're gonna have to delve into that,
one,
man.
but it's a different day.
We're gonna have to delve into that.
But it's like it's because like we have one of the it's very rare, and actually gingers only make up about 1% of the world's
That's what I was
population.
gonna say. You guys are the 1%.
We are really the real minority,
You
and
fuckers.
we're really the Illuminati. So
You're trying to take over the world.
that's right, baby. We the 1% out here. But whenever what I wanted to circle back to was when kids called me that when I was younger, it would get on my nerves a little bit, because like I was in high school or like middle school. It didn't really happen in high school as much, middle school. Because in high school I embraced it. I just wasn't whatever. Like I'm a ginger. Like whatever. Like I don't care about it. You know what I mean?
So you said that they got to you?
It got to me, and it got to me because you let it have power over you, because you know what I mean, because you get insecure.
One, I think it's more of embarrassment.
Yeah, right.
Because you're like, everybody's like,
and
you're the one being singled out.
Yeah, and you're like, and especially whenever there's not a lot of other redheads around. You know what I mean?
So you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, because you know what I mean, and that's how I know. Like I have friends that I have back in my high school. There's only one or two black kids in my school, so I kind of understand how they kind of feel. I mean, it's not to the extreme, but I mean, like when they're singled out. But to me, that doesn't even after a while though, it didn't even bother me, and I just took it in. I was like, whatever, I'm a ginger. So whenever they start saying it to me, I'd be like, I'm a ginger. You know what I mean? I got red hair. I'm like, I got red everything. What are you mad about? Is that it? Is that all you got? What, I have no soul? I'm like, yeah, I got no soul. I'm like, eat your soul. I'm gonna eat your soul. Bring it over here, boy. Come talk that shit.
No soul. You got no soul. So that's what
I'm
they
saying.
say.
Yeah, they say you got
That's
no soul.
the negative.
Well, it's not just
they
that.
say.
But I mean, there's all kinds of things. Like you're virgins. You don't get laid because you're ugly or something or whatever. Whatever it is that gingers have.
I never heard that one about the soul thing.
Yeah, there's no soul. Oh yeah, that's South Park, man. Go watch South Park. They got 3 episodes on the Ginger Saga where it's like gingers having no souls.
That.
Yeah, well, that's
one of them.
Yeah, and that's what it is, and I don't even know where it really all stems from, to be honest with you. Like where it really stemmed from. Because the N-word's different. You know exactly where it came from. Because it came from the slaves, and that was just a derogatory term they gave you for black or whatever. And and it was held over your head. I really don't understand where ginger really came from. I feel like it was some kind of urban thing that happened in the 80s where people were just started
in the
saying.
80s, you think it was?
I know. I don't think
close?
that's actually. I don't really think it was that. I think it has more roots way back when. But I'm just saying I feel like that's how it just it was like a slur, And then what happened was like it went away. And like in the 80s, like everybody was like, hey, remember how we always called redheads gingers and they had those souls because of this old thing? Let's start using that again, like for no reason or something. They dug it up. But, yeah, but like after a while, it just doesn't have power over you. Like, you're just like, whatever. And you know what I mean? Like I walk around and I embrace it. You know, like I said, my channel, I had a YouTube channel where I played video games, called it Gingerlicious. Gingerliciousness. And I just went with it. You know what? People loved it. I loved it, you know? Like I said, like you don't
Own it.
Yeah, like I said, because that's the thing. If you own your insecurities and things that, you know, shout out to all my ladies out there, woo! You earn your insecurities, you own being big and stuff. Not everybody's going to like you. I mean, I'm just going to be straight up with you. But, you know what I mean? But if you own your insecurities, no one can touch you. No one can even touch you, bro. No one.
It's true. What they call it, living your truth. You live your truth, they can't. There's nothing they can do to you because, especially if you speak on what it is that your truth is, they can't use it against you.
Yeah, it's your reality. I mean, it's your life. You're like, yeah, this is what I am. Like, what of it? Because like, it doesn't bug you that you know who you are. Like you said, your truth. You live it.
Right.
So you know, and that was just a little anecdote I wanted to put up to like understanding like how. Discrimination kind of works in that sense, you know. I mean, I'm not saying like I anyway even remotely close, and I was never, and nowhere in my life was I ever as bad as people, black people back in the '60s or '50s or whatever. But I'm just saying
farther,
40s,
farther back,
like 40s, 30s. I mean, we're
all the way back.
All the way back. I never had it that bad, but I'm just saying that. You know, I understand where like the discrimination from people where they call you out and stuff. I can get that, and I can understand it, you know, and you just deal with it, you know, and own it.
Yeah, so sum it all up, I think it's just like you said, it is going into places where it's very going to be common for everybody that's going to be able to say it. I'm just saying in this particular time, I don't think it's there all the way yet because, like you said, the older generation, people from probably my age and up, we're still going to be like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
explain yourself. What's going on? So you just got to be aware of that. Like I said, the kids on the football field, like just like in that show Last Chance U, the refs were kicking them out of the game for saying it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But in the NFL, high school football, it's being thrown around, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I remember listening to an NFL game where it happened. Or Matt
somebody
Ryan
was mic'd up.
Yeah, and they, like you heard them on the field. And they're like, Matt. Did you ever hear the one where Matt Ryan said the F word like real loud? It was like I was watching a primetime game and Matt Ryan just goes, and you're like, what? Like Matt Ryan, what are you doing?
That's why they have that delay.
Yeah, right.
But sometimes
they can't catch. Yeah, they just didn't catch it because like they were sitting there and all of a sudden like, wait, did Matt Ryan just say fuck?
Shit. Like we're gonna get a fine for this one.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But whatever, you know, it's cool.
Just know your audience, like I said.
Yeah, know your audience.
It's just the way to go.
We even said about when you have like a black friend, or and you're white or something like that. Have that discussion with them, like about it.
Right.
Like is it okay? Like or whatever.
Yeah. Plus, if you got the black, you're gonna be going over to the house. Maybe
have the discussion with everybody. I mean, if you had to, but I mean, like if you're just with them,
No, but what I'm saying is you're gonna be around their people. You don't want to say like you're around his mom or his uncle or something. And you say it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, if you really feel like that, but I mean, if you're just with him, then
Yeah,
this
that's
is
something
okay.
you guys work out, man. I don't care. There's still gonna be those. Like I said, there's gonna be people like me personally. I don't want to hear that shit pretty much at all.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. And that's just how it is.
That's just what it is. But
you know what I mean? But you got to respect it, because we have that freedom of speech and everybody's entitled to what they want to say. So, guys, let us know what you think about the N-word. Do you think it's socially acceptable for anybody to say? Do you think there's a time and place for it in the future? It'll soon get there, or is it never going to be okay ever? So, like I said, hey, just let us know in the comments section. Again, if you haven't yet, subscribe to our Mediated Media channel. We'll be putting out new videos and stuff all the time. Subscribe.
Well, make sure you watch it on the YouTube. Yeah, Mediated Media. Make sure you we got to get those views popping.
Yeah, agreed. And also, like it up, man. If you enjoyed the video, like it up. And if you haven't even followed our Facebook page yet, go check out our Facebook page and like it up. Like I said, we really do enjoy that. But as for us, I'm pretty much done. I have nothing left to say. As always, stay beautiful. Take care of yourselves. See ya.